Hey everybody, welcome back. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about I'm going to call it a voodoo subject, just for fun. I'm going to talk about VSTs. Specifically, I'm going to give you a little bit of history, my history with VSTs, sort of my love-hate relationship with it. And then at the end, I'll do a playing example. So let's talk about VSTs in general. Um, I've been using V-drums since 1997. Currently using a V71 MIDI'd together with my TD50X, and I use VSTs. I love everything about working with a module. I am very well versed about getting under the hood, all of the menus and submenus inside of the module. So that's kind of my history, and that's how I've always worked. But going back many, many years, Superior Drummer 2, I think, had just come out. And I was watching videos, and I'm like, man, this sounds so good, so good. And like you guys, you always want the best sound you can get. Sound always being subjective. You always want real sounds. I want my playing experience on my electronic kit to be as close as possible to when I play an acoustic kit, which I often do. I heard it, I'm like, those are real sounds. So I bought it, and man, did I struggle. I could not get latency figured out. I spent, I don't know how many hours trying to work with that thing. So I love modules. I hate laptops, hate them. That said, I spend my life on a computer, much like a lot of you guys do as well too. So I'm pretty good on a computer as well too. I have a technology background from 4,000 years ago. So I couldn't get SD2 to work, and I tried multiple times, and I tried everything possible, and I kind of just gave up with it, if you will. I'd go back to it every once in a while, but I kind of gave up with it. Then eDrum 3 came out, and I was thinking, you know what, for 179 bucks, let's give it another shot. Let me try it again. And I kind of put my head down as far as saying, I'm going to get this to work. And I did. Now, that being said, the path to getting there, what I learned, my own experience, is number one, there is no one right way to get a VST to work. There are multiple ways. There's the whole Mac Windows conversation. There's the whole, you need a audio interface. No, you don't. And then you need this and you need that, blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of videos out there. Specifically, what I would say is search on YouTube for eDrum 3 electronic drums, and it'll show you kind of step by step how to do it. I watched those videos 6, 7, 8 times. I watched it again this morning. I've been using VSTs for years. But those videos really did a pretty good job of explaining things. What I learned, my own experience, and again, there is not one path to getting a VST to work. Mine work actually really well. I'm really happy with the way they worked. And I had VSTs set up. I have Superior Drummer 3. So I said I bought eDrum 3 and I got it to work. And a few months back, I upgraded Superior Drummer to Superior Drummer 3. So eDrum to me is a good entry point because it's just that. It's easy. It's really easy to use. But there are a lot of tricks. I have a Windows laptop. I upgraded it. I upgraded to an SSD drive. This sounds very technical and hard to do. It's not. And I upgraded the memory. Simple snap, put it in, to make sure you get by the right memory. So my current laptop, I think, is around 2017. It's a Windows laptop, Windows 10. Nothing extraordinary. I think it's an i5. Decent processor. It's not a workhorse. It's just a regular laptop. SSD drive, 32 gigs of RAM. So that's important. You don't really need that much, but it's always good to have extra RAM. And the SSD is way better. Do not try running a VST without an SSD drive because a hard drive just runs too slowly. That's a key thing. Another key thing is my laptop, it only runs VSTs. I have a desktop over there on my desk. This laptop only runs VSTs, number one. Number two, it's been optimized. And before I move on, I did try a MacBook. I had a used MacBook Pro, took it back to day one, upgraded it to an SSD, upgraded the RAM, etc. I could not get the Mac to run better and cleaner than my Windows, so I kind of gave up on Mac. No, nothing bad about Mac. Quite frankly, if I started over, I'd probably switch over to a Mac because most music, producers, etc., use Mac. It's just better than Windows. It just is. Windows has tricks to it. You got to learn your way around it. Anyway, so my laptop only runs VSTs. It's always on airplane mode. I shut down all of the background apps running it. I optimized it. Do a Google search and say, look for how to optimize your PC. So it's running at peak capacity and it's only doing one thing, running VSTs. And it's running my VSTs flawlessly, really, really well. I just reconnected my V71 to VSTs, and I had to kind of start over a little bit. Case in point, what I found out was I use an ASIO driver, and my output device is the V71. Let me stop for 1 second and kind of sidestep. I always want to try to get the best. So most, go on all of the forum sites, Facebook groups, etc. And most guys will say you need an audio interface, and I get it. I understand that. I tried 3 of them. I tried a Motu, MOTU. I tried a Presonus, and I tried, I think, 2 different Focusrites. None of them gave me anything better in regards to sound or performance, latency. None of them. Maybe you do. That's great. I'm just saying me. I'm looking for simplicity. I just want it to run. I just want to play it. I'm not an engineer. I'm a drummer. I suck at being an engineer, but I get it. I understand I understand my way around a DAW. I understand my way around my computer. I understand my way around my modules. So I'm pretty good at that, but I'm not an engineer. I'm a drummer. So anyway, a couple things. So I had to kind of reestablish my setup, and right now I'm running EZD3. And what I had forgotten is there's a little window when you open up under settings and you go to the audio MIDI setup. Little window pops up. I have ASIO, V71. I'm going through my main outs. I'm using my module as my output. That's what I'm listening back through. Set up at 44.1 as far as sample rate. And my audio buffer size is at 96 samples, 2.2 milliseconds, which quite frankly means I get no noticeable latency at all. I have 0 delay. I can play a VST and I can hear no cracking, no popping, and it runs perfectly. The key is there's a little button called Control Panel. You have to open that up. And that's your V71 driver. As you'll see in any of the videos you watch, you got to make sure that you install your laptop's driver for your operating system into your laptop. So make sure you go through all of those settings. Anyway, that's sort of part 1, making sure that this is set up correctly. And it is. I can play again. I'm having an absolute ball. In your module, under setup, if you look under MIDI, I'm on the 71 right now, local control, you have to scroll down to local control. Local control means you turn the module sounds on or off. And I like to have them on because, and I said this in a previous video, I'll repeat myself here, just so you don't have to go looking for all other videos. To me, VST has a very specific sound, very rich. You can get into the mixer inside of it, and you can turn on and off mics, etc. You can change kits. I have Superior Drummer 3, I have Superior Drummer 2, I have sound packs, expansion packs. I have eDrum 3, and I have a bunch of expansion packs, etc. So I'll switch kits inside of my VSTs all the time. And I'm always looking for a combination of that plus my module sound to sort of give me something else. But anyway, to me, VST has sort of a I don't know how to describe it. It's like sort of a wide sound. You know, it has this, the sound spectrum is much richer because you're using so much space in your laptop to process those sounds. So they're so rich. But because of that, I don't hear the front attack. And to me, a module is instant. It's just in your face, you know, and I just love that attack. So kind of had that aha moment, me personally, of saying, well, if I keep local control on, I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm getting the attack, I'm hearing my module, and I can change any kit I want, and I'm getting the VST, so I'm getting the realism that I want, and then you blend those two together, and it sounds to me amazing. That's what I'm after. And I'm not saying this is right and this is what you should do it. My point again is you got to try, it's all trial and error to get it to work. And you have to read a lot and you have to research a lot. You can get there if you want to. And going back to what I said, you know, a few minutes ago, I would much rather spend my time in a module, but you know, I get kind of bored and tired of sounds. Sounds inspire me to play differently, different ways, etc. So I love to fire up a VST, and I'll go through a few sessions where I'm just playing VSTs, and I'm like, man, this is the greatest thing ever. And then literally the next day, I'll turn on a VST and go, I don't like it. Turn it off and go back to my modules and go, wow, this is the greatest thing ever. Choices are always good. Sometimes too many choices will just kill you. I think Tommy Igoe said that, and I couldn't agree more. You know, simplicity sometimes just brings out the absolute best. And this is far from being simple, but it's kind of where I'm at right now. So, SD3, same thing. I fired that up yesterday, had to kind of reestablish everything, all the setup, etc. It's working great. For today's video, I'm going to run through some samples of just the V71, even though I still have my V71 MIDI cabled into my 50X. For the sake of today, I'm going to only run the 71, so you're going to hear the 71 together with eDrum 3, and I'll run through a couple different kit options. Can't stress this enough. I will put links to this down below. You have to, in order to get the most out of your eDrum experience, I'll probably do another video on this. I'm going to be brief on this today, but I think this is a really, really big subject that so many drummers just don't do. You have to set up your triggers the right way. And I'll link some videos down below from Luke, I think his name is Luke Oswald, Drum Angle. Really great drummer, really well versed in VSTs. He has some live stream videos up on YouTube. They're long, very detailed. His segment about how you set up your pads can't be overlooked. This is where so many eDrummers just fall short. If you don't set up your triggers the way you play, you're not going to optimize your module, and you're not going to optimize VST. You have to spend the time with your trigger settings by pad, setting up the trigger settings to how you play. It's the most important thing to getting the most performance-wise out of your VST. So I hope this helps, and here we go. also show you a good example. This is eDrum 3 Tight Room. This is the classic pop basic. I'm only using 2 toms because that's how I have this set up. I'm not going to take the time right now. I can add more, but I'm going to use 2 toms. So this is a muted kit. This is in the tight room. So you'll hear the snare and the floor tom have a cloth taped over them. Pretty cool. But remember, the V71 is still the open kit, which is kind of this great mix of dry and open at the same time.